this offseason, whether it's drafting a guy early or it's signing Alec Pierce or it's like they need to add guys, and that includes the running back room, by the way. They need to add guys, like real guys, because they could bring in Mike McDaniel, Cliff King. They can bring them both in. Like, none of this shit matters if they're handing off to a guy who runs a 5.8 40 and they're like, hey, Juju, can you get open against man here on 3rd and 8? Like, none of it matters.
It's that football show here on KC Sports Network. Tucker Franklin hanging out with Matt Verderame, sponsored by Holiday Distillery and Ben Holiday, bottled and bond bourbon. Got the mini bottle, as always, on my desk as a break in case of emergency. And we luckily haven't had an emergency yet, Matt. How are you doing?
Yet.
How are things in your neck of the woods?
As I always like to say, better than the Chiefs. But in this case, I don't know if it's better than the Chiefs, because the Chiefs seem to, well, in some ways, it's definitely better than the Chiefs. And in other ways,
yeah,
seemingly moving off of Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. And so they seem to be doing well in that department. They have options, it feels like. Now, whether or not they actually explore any of those options, that's an entirely different conversation that we're going to get into. But otherwise, good. I see you're well coordinated today with your Maurice Jones-Drew jersey and also run the damn ball hat.
Well, look, I mean, big game this weekend for Duval. I said to put on for the boys, and we'll talk about the playoff picture.
A lot of Chiefs fans rooting for Duval.
There's a lot of Duval. I gotta find it.
On the funniest possible thing to happen.
Is there a Jags bar in Kansas City? There's got to be. If there's a Jags bar in Kansas City, I'll go there and watch the game.
Is there a Jags bar in Jacksonville?
Great point.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably a couple in England.
They got that dude that dresses up like a Jaguar for the games.
Yeah. England's probably jacked up for this game. Oh, that's prime time in England too, isn't it?
What time is it? It's a noon game, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's like 8 Eastern or something, or like 8
Great Britain time, whatever. Yeah,
time. Yeah, man, sure.
No, it's prime time.
Yeah, so yeah, that's probably why they did it. You know they're going to get that big international market, you know? That's
right. They said we got to make this a noon game so the folks overseas, the Jags fans overseas, can be locked in.
Jacksonville the Jags should have been like, we're having this game played in Wembley.
Oh, wow.
You imagine
a playoff game overseas?
McDermott would not be pleased. We get some fiery speeches about that.
There would be.
Be some speeches.
There would certainly be speeches. Yeah. But if you've been living under a rock, there's a lot of moving and shaking going on in the NFL coaching carousel, specifically of one Chiefs coordinator getting a lot of buzz, getting a lot of interviews. And it is, frankly, I tweeted out, you need to have someone in your corner who is pulling for you. It does as much work for you as Matt Nagy's agent is doing for him, because that dude, I think he has an interview for every vacant head coaching spot right now.
I'm pretty sure he has interviews for jobs that aren't even vacant.
Yeah, I think so.
It's unbelievable. His agent is basically the equivalent of the South Park meme of the, I didn't hear no bell.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, everyone in Kansas City is like, yeah, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. And then, like, you open up Twitter and there's another story that's 3,000 words about how Matt Nagy basically, like, saves puppies and children on a daily basis, and how he's just this generational second time around candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I'm sorry, why exactly?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what has happened that makes him that? But if you're a Chiefs fan, my advice to you is just stay quiet and just let it happen. If he goes to coach Lamar Jackson, it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Like, if he
the Ravens can't do that, right? The Ravens can't do that. If I'm a Ravens fan, I am livid if you fire John Harbaugh for Matt Nagy.
Bro, it would be, I mean, let's put it this way. If that happens, you're the Chiefs, you're feeling pretty good about the AFC, the way things are shaping up for 2026. Like, all right, we're getting better. They're not. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, if I'm Baltimore, I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, I'm bringing the Mike McDaniel to pair him with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
A lot of sense.
I mean, apparently Matt Nagy might float their boat, which good luck to them.
It is really crazy to me. And we talked about this, and I do think there's probably a disconnect from like what we see, right, and what actually goes on in the room. Obviously, there's that goes on. Maybe Matt Nagy is a lot better of a football coach than we realize, but it is crazy that he is getting so many interviews. And we've talked about this before. The fact that it was floated out that he was out of contract, I'm going to say that in air quotes, he was out of contract.
Yes, correct.
Before the season got done, I think is telling to where the Chiefs are kind of leaning in this situation of just like, all right, you're out of contract, right, Matt? Yes, you are out of contract. You should nod your head. Yes, you are out of contract, and we will be moving on because you are out of contract. Yes, we're all on the same page here. So it feels like in Kansas City that Matt Nagy going somewhere for a head coaching job would be or is going to happen. He obviously has a full slate of interviews, I think, coming up this week with coming up this weekend.
Jam-packed.
I mean, he's got. I was trying to pull up the schedule, but I just saw that Pete Thamel reported that Louis
Raiders, which also would be just, oh my God,
the Raiders would be so funny.
The Raiders, the Titans, would be the Cardinals are the other one, and then the Raiders and the Ravens. It's those four. Yeah, my God, Matt Nagy is in demand. Like, does anyone have more interviews set up than Matt Nagy?
I don't think there's no shot. Matt Nagy was setting up interviews before the season got done.
Like, and at what point during one of these searches is somebody in the room like, "Hey, why are we interviewing this guy? Like, what happened and made us interview this guy? Like, this is incredible. It's the amount of people that are just like, yeah, like bring him in. Like, let's talk to." Meanwhile, Steve Spagnuolo's got to be like, "What the fuck? Like, what else do I have to do to get a second coaching job?"
It's a great point.
And like Matt Nagy is sitting there, he had one winning season in 4 years in Chicago, right. No playoff victories. The Chiefs offense has been running at about the same efficiency as a car without an engine the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And people are like, hey, listen, hot candidate. It just does go to show the power of the agents, power of the media. Because I got to tell you, that agent, to your point, man alive, is he working? Like, Ian Rappaport's tweeting out something every hour, basically, about how Nagy's like, man of the year. And, he's also got all these opportunities and this, that. And and like, am I out of my mind? Like, did I miss something watching this team the last 3 years? Like, who? But it's incredible. Like, Nagy somehow like found himself in a position of strength. Like, when he got the Titans interview in my head, I'm like, all right, he might go there because of Borgonzi.
Sure. Yep.
How are these other interviews happening? Like, it's just unbelievable.
It is quite frankly startling. And Connor Embry was also the team just said, how did they phrase it? Part ways? Is that what they said?
He got fired.
Yeah. They also fired their defensive quality control? Yeah, specialist. Louis Adizio. And Pete Thamel tweets this out as we're recording this podcast. UNLV is set to hire Louis Adizio as the school's new offensive line coach. So shout out to Louis for falling upwards. But what I think when I go back to Matt Nagy, what I think about with the whole why he's getting all these interviews is I think of that scene from Arrested Development when he's like explaining about how this doesn't really work for a whole lot of people, right? It doesn't work because they convince themselves of a bunch of other things. And then she asked, well, did it work for those people? And he says, no, it doesn't. I mean, these people somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for us. That's what I think for Matt Nagy. And
hey, he could make it work with Mahomes, but it'll work here.
But it might work with Cam Ward.
Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Good luck to you.
With Jacoby Brissett.
So it actually might be better with Jacoby Brissett than Kyler Murray. I don't know.
Oh, it would be.
If you had your hilarious word, but if you had your druthers, who would you like to see replace Nagy?
This is a very good question because I think that there is a lot of different ways that we can approach this, and probably a conversation we need to be had about replacing Matt Nagy. That I think that all Chiefs fans need to be on the same page, and you and I need to be on the same page. And I guess to cope as well, we need to do this as well. We're going to power rank our top 5 offensive coordinating candidates later on in the show. Maybe we'll do it here in a little bit before the break, just to kind of really throw a curveball at you guys, so we can have a nice graphic out there too. That'll really play well. Here's the conversation that I think we need to talk out, and we need to explain that, because you can't really fit this in 280 characters on Twitter, right? It's hard to put this much nuance in a tweet, so I think it's best to do it here. When it comes to the offensive coordinator position, there are 2 schools of thought, right? There is where I stand, and where I kind of want to see is the Chiefs bring in an outside mind. Chiefs bring in a Cliff Kingsbury, a Mike McDaniel, who was recently fired, maybe even Nate Scheelhaus, the I think he's quarterback coach. No, Dave Ragon's the quarterback coach for the Rams. I think he's like he's an assistant for the Rams offensively. I don't know his position on the top of my head, but there's that school of thought. Then there's the other school of thought. When you look at Andy Reid and how he's hired coordinators and how he's hired just position coaches, hired a staff in general, it doesn't go outside of that bubble. It doesn't go outside of that. So what I really love to see, like what I want and what I think is going to happen, are 2 very distinct things. So I think that is very clear to put out there before we get into this conversation, before we talk about who we want to be the offensive coordinator, is very different than who I think or who I predict to be the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think, Matt, that is wildly infuriating. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now, where I am a little upset with how things have gone, where it's like, oh, I think it was reported out there a little bit that Eric Bieniemy and Mike Kafka might have a little opportunity at the job. Sure, fine. They've been out of the system. They've been back. But I want some new ideas. I want some fresh blood. I want someone to get excited. I want someone to get excited about. You don't get excited about Mike Kafka coming back. You don't get excited about Eric Bieniemy. You don't get excited about Doug Peterson. You don't get excited about Brad Childress. I don't even think his name's out there.
Not.
But all those guys you don't get excited about, they're offensive coordinator wise, they haven't had somebody to be super excited about. They haven't had an offensive mind that goes elsewhere and blossoms. And I think that might be part of the problem. And I don't think it's the offensive coordinator's fault, right? You and I were talking about this, and I think we kind of land on different sides of it. I don't necessarily think Matt Nagy was the whole problem. I think he was a part of the problem, but I don't think he was the whole problem when it comes down to it. I think he might just be like a quote unquote fall guy, in air quotes, for this whole situation, to make some changes, to get some new stuff in here. Either way, he was a part of the problem, in my opinion. So when it comes down to it, and you're looking to make a change there, it feels like you're going backwards. If you go Kafka, if you go Bieniemy, like that feels like a backwards move or a stagnant move at the very most, instead of a advanced move. And I think it's important to talk about what we think will happen and what we wish happens. Do I wish Mike McDaniel would be the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs? Absolutely. He would be my number one choice if I had to make a list right now. And I will make a list here in a little bit. He's probably my number one choice in terms of just like offensive coordinator candidates. But do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I don't believe it will happen even a little bit.
So we're mostly in the same boat. I feel a little differently in the sense that I really do believe that, like, no matter who they bring in as the offensive coordinator, like Andy Reid's calling the plays, and it's Andy Reid's offense, and right. So they could bring in Mike McDaniel, Cliff Kingsbury, Vince Lombardi. Like, doesn't matter. Vince might be tough to get these days, but you know, look, Andy is going to do what Andy wants to do.
Yeah,
and so, like, my feeling on the offensive coordinator is I want a guy who the players respect. I want a guy who, most of all, will hold the players on the offense accountable.
Sure.
And yeah. I feel like there has been a complete lack of accountability on that offense for years, where it has just been, that's fine to take a bunch of penalties. Nothing's going to change. That's fine if you're Xavier Worthy and you just run routes out of bounds. Like, that's fine. Nothing's ever going to change. It's never going to get addressed. And look, even Mahomes sometimes. Hey, man, you got to trust that receiver. Like, the guy's open. The ball's got to come out. Like, I don't care that, like, he's not your guy. Like, the ball's got to come out, period.
Yeah.
there has not been attention to detail. There's not been accountability. And I feel like that is something that needs to be corrected, and that is going to fall on the offensive coordinator, with Andy doing, a lot of the scheming and the game planning and everything else. The OC is going to install the game plan.
Sure.
And so that's, for me, I feel like that to me is of paramount importance with this hire. That whoever it is, whether it's an outside hire, if it's a Bieniemy, a Kafka, like that person's got to be able to do that. Because here's the deal. Like, look, in theory, yeah, man, I love Mike McDaniel coming in and being the OC.
Yeah.
Well, he would be amazing. He's never calling the plays on this team, ever. Andy Reid would throw himself in front of everybody in the world to stop that from happening. And listen, I am a little bit on the other side of the discourse with this with Andy. Like the amount of people who are just like, well, then throw him out with the bathwater. He's gone to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Like,
it's a tough conversation to have. It really is.
First ballot Hall of Fame coach. And the idea that he can't change is bullshit, because when they went from Smith to Mahomes, he scrapped his entire offense and rebuilt the entire offense. And then when Tyreek Hill left, they rebuilt their entire offense. And Mahomes had 5,200 yards and won the MVP. Like, I think, like, 2 things can be true at once with them. Part of their problem the last 3 years has been the fact that they've gotten stale offensively. And that is on Andy. And Andy's got to wear that. And I think it's a little easier, in fact, it's a hell of a lot easier to accept that even in real time when you're still winning. Well, yeah, the offense wasn't as good, but we won the Super Bowl. Well, the offense wasn't that good last year, but we went back to the Super Bowl and won 15 games, right? Now, this year, Chernobyl took place. And it's like, okay, now it's got to fucking change. Now, they come back in 2026 and he runs the same offense out there, then he's got to go. Like, then at that point, it's on him. The other thing, though, that can be true at the same time, their weaponry has gotten worse and worse and worse each of the last 4 years. 2022, Kelce was still peak Kelce.
Right.
Juju was really good that year, almost had 1,000 yards. MVS was good that year. He had over 600. Like, Pacheco was almost 1,000-yard rusher that season. 2023, Juju's gone. They replaced him with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore.
Good Lord.
MVS fell off a cliff. That's one of the worst receiving rooms I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Somehow.
It was also the first year Kelce didn't have 1,000 yards in a long time. Okay. The next year, Pacheco gets hurt. He's never the same player for them. Kelce, let's just call it what it is, shows up out of shape, doesn't play particularly well. Okay. That receiving room was Rice in his second year, who, not their fault, he got hurt. Mm-hmm. And I should add, by the way, in 2023, he was there, but he was basically the back half of the year because he didn't play in the first half of the season. Right. He was a rookie. Rice gets hurt. Brown gets hurt. Worthy's a rookie. Can't figure out how to stay in bounds while running. Like, their weaponry that year, and it wasn't their fault, to be fair to them, but it sucked.
Sure, yeah.
This year, they come back, and it's like, Kelce's better, but he's not the elite player he once was. Mm-hmm. Worthy gets hurt 3 plays into the season. Rice is suspended for 6 games and then doesn't play the last handful of games. Like, they need to revamp the scheme.
Yeah.
But none of that shit matters if they're trotting out the same bozo fest they've been trotting out for years, whether on their own volition or because of bad luck. Like we're going to get to Rashee Rice here momentarily.
Yeah.
But, like, look, Juju should be gone. Hollywood should be gone. I have no reason to think they're ever playing Jalen Royals. So, like, put him aside for a minute. Tyquan Thornton looked like he could play, and then Andy basically put him in a locker and locked it for the rest of the season. So, like, this offseason, whether it's drafting a guy early or it's signing Alec Pierce or it's like, they need to add guys, and that includes the running back room, by the way. They need to add guys, like real guys, because they could bring in Mike McDaniel, Cliff King. They can bring them both in. Like, I don't care. None of this shit matters if they're handing off to a guy who runs a 5.8 40 and they're like, hey, Juju, can you get open against man here on 3rd and 8? Like, none of it matters. So, you know, like, and that, we get out the conversation as time goes on. Do they bring in Tyreek Hill? Do they bring him back? I think there's a lot of problems with that, quite honestly, for a variety of reasons. But, you know, do they just, like, at 9, if Carnell Tate's there, do they just take him? You know, like, is Rashee Rice even on this team in July? Like, there's so many different things. But let's be real about it. Like, I have my thoughts of who they should bring in a coordinator. I know we'll talk about that. Mm-hmm. None of this matters if they trot out the same guys they've been trotting out for years. Like, they've got to fix all that at the same time. It can't just be like, oh, well, we brought in a new coordinator. Because that guy is going to install the game plan. He's not going to create it. And if he's out there trying to help, Juju be Derek Stingley Jr. on third down, like, it's not going to happen. I don't care who it is. So there's a lot to unpack.
I want to have the conversation about McDaniel and Kingsbury. And I know that there's a lot of buzz from the fans about those those coaches to become offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. They might be better, actually, wide receivers than what the Chiefs currently have on the roster. So maybe they can play wide receiver. Here's the conversation that I think is so fascinating. When you talk about McDaniel, when you talk about Kingsbury, Chiefs fans saw those moves come down. The Cliff Kingsbury departing from Washington was kind of unexpected. The McDaniel one from Miami was like, oh, he's definitely going to get fired, to maybe he won't get fired, to he's in on the GM search, to now he is fired. It was all very odd kind of how that progressed, but nevertheless, he doesn't have a job. There's now 8 NFL head coaching vacancies at the time we're recording this podcast, because who knows what else is going to happen now. Maybe the Bills will lose to the Jags and then McDermott's gone. That would be nuts. But I also don't know if that's out of the realm of possibilities, especially if the game goes horrid for them. That's conversation for later on in the show. But here's the McDaniel and the Kingsbury conundrum is what we can call it, right? Those are two guys that are coming from spots where they had a decent amount of control and they had play calling. Kingsbury is different in a little bit of a sense than McDaniel, obviously, because he's just the offensive coordinator. Mike McDaniel was a head coach. Right. Could Mike McDaniel get one of these other 7 head coaching vacancies? Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked if he was a head coach again. But I saw a tweet, I think it was from Ian, that was like he should be a top offensive coordinator candidate, and I thought that was interesting. That they're already putting out there that he could be an offensive coordinator candidate. With Kingsbury and McDaniel, the question I keep asking myself is, why would they come to Kansas City? Obviously, the quarterback is a big piece of it. And 15 and Patrick Mahomes, you get to coach Patrick Mahomes. That's awesome. Like, that's a really cool opportunity. You get to coach the best player in the game. That would be awesome. That's probably where the list ends and reasons why you'd come to Kansas City. You aren't installing your offense. You're not calling the plays. Correct. You're going to get to relay the plays to Patrick Mahomes that Andy Reid picks out. I find it hard for Kingsbury or McDaniel to say, oh, I want to go to Kansas City and relegate the control that they've had for the past however many seasons. That's, for me, the big hiccup. If I put myself in Kingsbury, McDaniel's shoes, why would they come? Outside of Patrick Mahomes, there's no reason for them to come to Kansas City.
Well, it's well said. I mean, I think having Mahomes is a massive reason.
It is, and that should be clear too. Like that is the maybe the biggest reason. Yes.
All right. And Andy's 68 years old, I believe he is.
I think so.
And so it's like, all right, well, maybe we could just wait it out.
Maybe I'll slide in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then I've got this guy for the next 8 years, and I can be George Seifert.
And when that happens, the Chiefs will have the most coveted head coaching position in the National Football League in quite some time.
They won't even interview anyone for it. They'll just hand
Matt Nagy.
You imagine, Jesus.
I'm sorry, man. It's the podcast. I'm sorry.
He just goes like 6-30 with the Cardinals, and the Chiefs are like, "Hey, come on home. Got a job for you." Yeah, that'd be great. No, look, I think we talked about this off the air, but it's worth having the conversation now. Here's the one thing I will say about Kingsbury that I think is very interesting. So, Andy, I think we just said, 68?
Turning 68 in March.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, even if he stays around for 3 more years, that's, you would imagine, far less than what Mahomes is going to be in Kansas City for. What if Patrick Mahomes goes to Brett Veach and Clark Hunt and says, Cliff Kingsbury is my guy, and he is going to be the offensive coordinator for this team, and and I want him to have real input in the way this offense runs. Like, whether or not he calls plays, we can have that conversation. But, like, he's going to have a significant hand. Like, he's not just going to be a pencil pusher. He is going to have a real hand in the scheme. The good news is for Andy, he also doesn't get under center ever. So, that ought to mesh without a problem.
Well, here's the thing. Does that bring up the question that Mahomes doesn't like to be under center?
Fair. I mean, he's never had to really do it a lot, right? So, I just wonder if he were to do that, if he were to just privately go to them and be like, this guy is our offensive coordinator. That's it. And maybe, and God knows, like, he'd talk to Cliff. And if Kingsbury's like, yeah, I'm on board. Like, I will come to Kansas City, be your OC, as we talked, like, that's the deal. I got to be honest, man. I think for the Chiefs, like, you're doing that. You're going to tell that guy, you're going to tell Mahomes no.
Right.
I mean, but it also brings up the question, does Andy throw his body in front of that? And is it no? That's not happening. And if that were to take place, then what?
Yeah.
Do you tell Andy it's been great? Thanks for the memories? Like, I don't know what you do. Or option C, does that become a compromise that leads you to Eric Bieniemy? Where it's like, look, Andy doesn't want to work with Kingsbury. The offenses don't match, blah, 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 blah. But, like, look, Mahomes has always liked DB. That never seemed to be any kind of a problem. Andy and EB are close. So is there a world where they just say, look, you know what? We're not going to bring in Cliff Kingsbury because it just doesn't work for the whole organizational structure, but we'll bring in a guy that everybody likes and you've had success with, and we're going to go from there. I mean, I do think one thing about Eric Bieniemy that is true, that I think really that matters. When Mahomes became the starting quarterback in 2018, Eric Bieniemy was his offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
The best years of Mahomes' career happened with Eric Bieniemy. And, like, he learned the ropes of the league with Bieniemy at his side. I do think it matters that, like, there's got to be an inherent comfort level if you're Patrick Mahomes, that guy was there in the, so to speak, in the wars with you. Like, when you were coming up and learning the role, like, he's a guy you shared a lot of great moments with, and you're the best years of your career with. Like, because that's one thing that didn't happen with Kingsbury. They didn't win at Texas Tech. Now, it's because the defense sucked, right? But, like, that's also part of Kingsbury's job. Wouldn't be in this job, of course. But I wonder if with Bieniemy, there is an inherent level of just, hey, man, I know this works. Like, I know this relationship works. And, like, when I came into the league, you were here. I just wonder how much that plays. I wonder how much that would matter to Mahomes.
I think it's a very good question. I think the Chiefs should weigh what Patrick Mahomes wants pretty heavily in this situation. And
would you flat out just give him what he wants?
Yeah.
I would do.
Yeah. I
would do.
There's no reason to rock the boat with Patrick Mahomes. There's zero reason.
Because the other side of that, too, is if you don't give him the guy he wants and it doesn't work, now you got a problem. Like, if let's say he wants Bieniemy. He wants Eric Bieniemy. And Andy's like, no, we're hiring whatever. I don't know, Andy Heck. Because that seems like something the Chiefs would do. Like, Andy Heck is it. And Mahomes is like, no, I want Bieniemy. And Bieniemy's like, yeah, I'll go there. She's like, nah, that's all right. And it doesn't work. Now, if I'm Pat, now I'm pissed.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I wanted this guy, and we didn't bring him in. Like, I also think at some point here, I mean, Mahomes is 30 years old. At what point does he start to, trying to think of a PG way to say this, put the hammer down?
Yeah.
And be like, this is my team.
Yeah.
This isn't Andy's team anymore. Andy's 68 years old. This is my team. I'm going to be here for the next 10, 12 years maybe in the way the NFL is today. I'm going to be here. And, like, listen, I'm not saying this is fair. He can sit there and make the argument. What did Andy win for? I showed up. Nothing.
It's a great point.
Won one playoff game in Kansas City before I rolled into town. So I'm thinking this is my team now, and it's my legacy that's on the line going forward. Like, I want to catch Brady. I want to put myself so far ahead of Allen and Lamar, like no one could ever question it. Like, if I want Cliff Kingsbury, then I want Cliff Kingsbury. And I don't really care how Andy feels about it.
Mm.
And I got to tell you, if I'm the Chiefs, I'd be like, yeah, Andy, listen, you're 68 and he's 30. So I'm thinking what he wants is more important at this juncture.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think that's a real thing. It's a real thing at this point. And look, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's not going to publicly go out there and air the team out.
No, he's not going to do that.
He's not, and he shouldn't. But I wonder privately if there's a little bit more of a power play at this point with him. Maybe not, but I would not be shocked.
It's going to be interesting to see how all these head coaching vacancies fill out, how much they shake. If you look at the coaches that have been fired between like Harbaugh and McDaniel and all apparently Matt Nagy, there's going to be a coach left out of these head coaching vacancies. Like the carousel is going to stop and someone's not going to have one of the 32 head coaching jobs, which would then lead them to be offensive or defensive coordinator, right? In that regard. And we could talk about the other vacancies, but before we do that, I do want to let's power rank right now in the middle of the show. This is a new trend for us. Power rankings in the middle of the show. How do you want to do this, Matt? Do you want to do offensive coordinators you want in Kansas City, that we want in Kansas City, or we think will be in Kansas City?
I would say, what the hell, that we want in Kansas.
Okay. I'm good with that. 5-1, as we usually do. Do you want the honors?
Sure. I'll put Kafka at 5.
Okay. Mike Kafka.
Like, I respect him as a coach. I think he's a good coach. I also think that if they're going to stay in-house, that Bieniemy is the better option, frankly. He's been there. He's done it. It's worked. Like, I think his fire is something this team could use a little bit of, quite frankly, on offense. But I think you have to respect Kafka to have him on the list. I'll put him at 5.
I've got Bieniemy at 5. All the points that you said, but schematically, there's guys that I think I respect a little bit more schematically wise that I would like to put over Bieniemy. I think that obviously all the points you made about Bieniemy with like him having the best years with Mahomes and his attitude and just the accountability is phenomenal. And that's why he's on the list, right? But I think the next guy I have is kind of the same, but like I think he's better schematically, if that makes sense. So Bieniemy's my number 5.
Okay. Number 4, I guess I would go with I'm going to screw his name up, but Skolhasi had it with the Rams.
Shieldhouse, Nate Shieldhouse.
Shieldhouse. I'm never going to say his name right. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not spelled like Shieldhouse.
I'm very much visual with that stuff. Shieldhouse. Okay, so look, he's 35 years old, I believe. He's an offensive assistant for the Rams.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, there are some people who think he could be a head coach right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
there are.
You know, and I really do like that he is in that McVay tree. McVay's trees had a lot of success, you know, a lot of it. So I really do like him. I think he's going to be very good. So I did Shieldhouse for. Plus, he bring in some different ideas, but like McVay's offense is oddly not like wildly different than Andy's at its peak.
No, it's not.
Like it's kind of just an advanced version of it. It feels like right now,
better running game.
Like a modernized version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would actually be a pretty good match. The only reason he's as low as 4 is I just don't think he's going to get the job in Kansas City.
Sure.
But like, I'd put him at 4.
Sure. Number 4, I have Mike Kafka. And a lot of the reasons that you said with Kafka, I think that he is going to be a guy that the Chiefs have a previous relationship with. And I think that he schematically isn't much different from Andy Reid. So it lends to a good inside track there. So Mike Kafka at 4 for me. Number 3 for you, Matt.
Okay, so now we're getting into 3 pretty obvious names here. I'd put Kingsbury at 3.
Okay.
So on one hand, and I'm going to preface this by saying any of the top 4 guys, if they're the OC, I'd be fine with it.
Okay.
Even Kafka, like to an extent, like I'd be fine with it, but like the top 4 would be fine. Like I'd be happy with.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that concerns me about Kingsbury is like they don't get under center. And I do worry about the fact like I feel like if Andy stayed and Kingsbury was there, like we're gonna get Nate's gonna write like a 3,000 word piece about how it was like an internal like WWE wrestling match for 17 weeks in Kansas City, because like they just, and I feel like the offense will just look like shit because it'll be two guys constantly trying to like put their own stamp on it, and it'll just be like a mismatch. Kind of like when the Raiders, it was like Chip Kelly just called plays we didn't have.
Right.
Like, you know, I not like that bad because they're the Chiefs, but it's not the Raiders. But I worry about the cohesion, essentially. I worry about, like, would there be cohesion? If there would be, I think it could be really interesting. But, like, I just worry that it would be like Mahomes and like in the middle of those two guys. You know, because Mahomes loves Andy and loves Cliff. Like, it's almost like you're like a child of divorce, basically, at that point. Like, I just wonder what that would look like. But I think Kingsbury, because of his relationship with Mahomes, I don't think you can just dismiss it.
I think that's very fair. At number 3, I've got Nate Shieldhouse because of his offensive mind, the outside ideas, but the similarities is all that you hammered there. The youth as well is a big part of that in terms of Shieldhouse coming into Kansas City and injecting some new blood into the Chiefs coaching staff. Again, this is what we want, not what we think the Chiefs will do.
Correct.
So this is what we want. Number 2 for you, Matt.
Okay. This one is the one I kind of had a hard time with this. Like I would put Bieniemy second.
Okay.
I'm not always a big get the band back together guy. Like I just think sometimes like it had its moment. You know, it's almost like if you had like a girlfriend back in the day that like you had like a great relationship with, and then you see her again down the road. And by the way, if my wife's listening to this, like not now, like way back. Okay.
Right.
And you're like, man, I remember we had some good times. And be like, yeah, remember why we broke up? Because that shit was terrible in the end. Yeah. The Chiefs didn't have a bad breakup with EV. It just was a matter of, he wanted to be head coach and he wasn't going to call plays in Kansas City. And it just, it was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I like Eric Bieniemy a lot more than others because I genuinely feel like almost as much as a schematic thing and not like Andy's got it fresh in the scheme. Okay. And I feel like no matter who the hell the OC is, Andy's got to do that. So I kind of take that and put it to the side because he's got to do it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the biggest things they need out of their offensive coordinator is they need somebody who's going to get into somebody's face on this offense. They have no fire. Like the only time in the last 3 years I can think of anybody on the offensive side of the ball showing fire is Kelce. Yeah. Like when he damn near killed Andy during the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. There's just no, like, I feel like there's not an urgency on that offense that there needs to be. And listen, there's a lot of questions about Bieniemy. I don't have any questions about the amount of urgency they're about to show if Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator of that team.
It's true.
Like, and the one thing I'm a big believer in too, Eric Bieniemy can walk in there and slam 2 Super Bowl rings down the table and basically tell everybody to just shut the fuck up. Like, you want my credentials? Here they are.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury, I like him. He's never won anything. Kafka has won as an assistant, but like never as like a major part of the staff. I think there's that, especially because you want him there.
Right.
He can put his rings on the table there and be like, how many of you guys have more rings than I do? Because I want him here. You see those banners hanging up? I was here for that. Like, I just think this team needs major accountability. They need the details adjustment. And look, they weren't perfect under Bieniemy. Like Cody Tapp brought this up in his radio show. I thought it was perfect. And Demarcus Robinson ran backwards every week for 5 years when Bieniemy was there.
He did, yeah.
So, now listen, at some point, there's only so much God allows you to do, okay? I mean, Bieniemy did the Lord's work trying to fix a lot of that stuff.
Was that Greg Lewis, wide receiver coach then?
I believe it was, yes.
Still, he's in the market.
Look out. But but my point is, I just believe that Bieniemy, between his synergy with Mahomes, his pass with Andy, his understanding of their offense and how things run when it runs well, I think there's a lot of value in him. So I'm high on him. I would put him at 10.
I like it. Number 2 for me, I got Cliff Kingsbury because of the Mahomes connection. I think that would be a good compromise. While it's not necessarily, I think the scheme again is kind of adjacent. Like we talked about with Shieldhouse, a lot of the same tendencies, it is a better run game with Cliff Kingsbury. I think that if Cliff Kingsbury wanted to be, as we talked about earlier, why would Cliff Kingsbury come to Kansas City? Oh, you get to have Patrick Mahomes. And I think that that's probably a big draw for him, especially, and maybe have an inside track to what could be the most coveted head coaching position in quite some time. So I have 2 for Kingsbury in terms of, I know that people will look at the numbers and be like, ew, he doesn't run under center, but like, does Patrick Mahomes like to do that? It doesn't seem like so. So we'll see. Two Kingsbury. What do you got for number 1? Do we have the same number 1, Matt?
Yeah, it's McDaniel.
Yeah, it's Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel with that team would be insane.
Yes, I agree.
Like, go sign Breece Hall or ETN or Kenneth Walker and then draft Carnell Tate. But here you go.
Yeah.
Also, does Tyreek come in with Mike McDaniel? You know?
Oh. Package
like,
deal.
Is it like Dave Grohl with the Foo Fighters, like coming over from Nirvana? It's just absolute chaos. Like, I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, look, McDaniel to me, I don't think he's going to be. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if he's the OC in Kansas City. I think he's going to.
Yes, 100%. But this is who we want.
But right, exactly. But if they announce that Mike McDaniel is the OC of that team, I'd bet this whole fucking thing was worth it. Mm-hmm. This is what it took to get them to this point. Then, yeah, I would have to be, yeah, I mean, cool. But I'd be shocked. Whereas I think we all feel like, well, here, you know, your number 1 is also McDaniel.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Same reasons.
If we had to, and we don't have to go through 1 through 5 here. If you had to rank who you think is getting a job, who would you say it is?
Okay, that's a fun little exercise. I think it's probably 1 Bieniemy, 2 Kafka, and then that's it. I think that's the list.
See, I would go 1 Bieniemy. I think 2 is Kingsbury.
Okay.
Because I really think there's a
more optimistic on Kingsbury.
Yeah. Like, you're fucking hiring this guy.
Yeah.
That's happening. So, and 3 would be Kafka for me. But I think Bieniemy makes the most sense. And it's funny because there are some people who are really like, oh my God, don't hire. But I got to be honest. I guess my thing is like, why? Like they won a shit ton with the guy.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I'm also amazed in New Yorker in me. I thoroughly enjoyed when somebody would come off the field after they took a pre-snap penalty and just got absolutely reamed to no end for like 5 solid minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a little bit of, it seems like it's a move backwards, right? Because he's already been the offensive coordinator, then you're going back to him. Like that. Optically, it's not a great optic look in terms of like where you're going, but yeah, we'll see what people think of our list. I'll put that out on Twitter, Instagram, all the fun social medias. But we got to take a break. We've gone 42 minutes and haven't even taken a break. We still got a lot to talk about on the show because Rashee Rice has new stuff out that we'll talk about, and the NFL playoffs are here. Kelce finally made a statement. His podcast came out, so we got a statement from Travis Kelce about his retirement future. We'll talk about all that and more next. Chiefs.
Just a short drive from Kansas City. Experience the history, the heritage, and the bourbon at Holiday Distillery. Tour Missouri's oldest distillery, where real Missouri bourbon is made the old-fashioned way. Walk the grounds, taste the tradition, and take home a bottle of something special. Make the trip, sip the story. Holiday Distillery, Weston, Missouri. Book your tour at holidaydistillery.com.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, you know, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity, because you won't be disappointed, and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Hey, what's happening, people? It is Benny Heiss, KCSN betting analyst. And while the Chiefs may not be in the playoffs, that doesn't mean there is not plenty of action to go around for the rest of you that are still crazy fans of the National Football League. And with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, it makes every playoff moment feel bigger. So whether you're looking at individual matchups in the wild card, or for a possible Super Bowl matchup, or for futures come postseason time, DraftKings has your back, and they also have your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop goes down at any point in the first half, guess what? You can still get paid in cash. What an opportunity. What a way to be able to enjoy the playoffs and not worry about anybody that you include in those props going down, especially early on, and ruining the rest of all of your legs. So here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code KCSN, that is code KCSN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. You must be 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
All right, Matt, let's talk about it. Rashee Rice's mother of his children made a post on Instagram. This was on Wednesday, talking and making some allegations, while not directly naming him, but making allegations towards of some domestic abuse, and saying it had been going on for about 8 years. And the pictures are graphic. They are horrible. The NFL released a statement, not the NFL, the Chiefs released a statement saying that they're in communication with the NFL and they will comment on matters.
Did not name him by name in the statement either.
Did not name him by name in the statement, did not name him by name in the post. I think that is interesting, that even though he's not named in the post, the Chiefs still made a statement about it. I could be telling that from the reaction that we're just about 24 hours by the time we're recording this podcast from when the post was made.
Yeah.
That there's been no denial. There has been no other court filings, I should say, too. Like the only thing that we have to go off of is a post. And I know in Kansas City, we have a history of posts and specifically audio coming out and people jumping to conclusions. I don't want to do that here. I don't want to be the first to have an opinion on this. I don't want to be the first to bury Rashee Rice because of this post. I would love to wait for more information to come out and have my opinion change. I hope that it's not true. I hope that none of it's true for the sake of everyone involved. But at the time, we need to wait for more information to come out. If it is true, I would anticipate Rashee Rice to not be a Kansas City Chief anymore.
Look, everything you said is perfectly said. And I would second all of it. I would also say, while they are allegations, and really in a way like vague allegations, just because the name wasn't used, stuff like that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the allegations, I only say vague because his name wasn't in there, but like it's very clear it's talking about him. And
yeah,
the pictures, as you said, are disgusting. They're horrible.
Yeah.
Look, if there's a shred of truth to this, if there's any truth to it, he needs to be gone. Period. Full stop. Like none of this crap. We're like, well, we got to see him wait how it all. No, we don't. Like, actually, we don't. Because if any of this is true, this is obviously not the first time that he's had some off-field issues. And that stems back to his days in college. Okay. There were teams that, and this is well publicized. I'm not breaking any news here. There were teams that he was not on their board at the draft because of all his problems off the field. And the Chiefs basically said, whatever, and took him anyway. And he's ended up becoming a very good football player.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, he is. But he has been a disaster off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just look. Again, maybe it's not true. And if it's not true, okay.
Hope it's not true for the sake of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But if any of it is, his cap hit this year is $2 million, and the Chiefs recoup 1.6 of it if they cut him. And I got to tell you, if I'm the Chiefs, if I believe this is true, if I find out any of it's true, I would try to move him. And if they can't, I would just release him. That'd be it. Because here's the other part is from it, just to move it to a football standpoint here.
Sure. Yeah.
You cannot continue to move forward every year with your number one receiver being a guy who you never know if he's going to play because he might be suspended or he might do something to get himself suspended or he might not, look, this year, there were times when he barely decided to play football when he was on the field.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on with Rashee Rice. Okay. And you and I have had this conversation before any of this came out about would you trade him? Would you? We both were like, yeah, I would trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I wonder, based on the allegations, if that alone is enough for them to say, you know what? Not paying him $100 million. Not doing it. Like, maybe he's on the team next year if the allegations prove unfounded or can't be proven or whatever. But, like,
yep.
Maybe they say, you know what? We'll ride out the rookie deal and then that's it. We'll get a comp pick. And, then that's how, from a football side of things, they look at it. But I said this to you off the air. I also wonder, does this change the calculus of everything with Trent McDuffie? Because we've all sat here and been like, well, they probably won't pay both of them. They probably can't pay both of them. Well, maybe they were planning on paying Rashee Rice. Maybe after this, especially if there is tangible proof,
mm-hmm.
We're good. We're not paying this guy ever. Does that change how they look at McDuffie? If it does that change the way they look at Jalen Watson this offseason? I mean, there is a butterfly effect to this from a football roster building standpoint that is very deep. And but obviously the most important thing right now is, are these allegations true?
Mm-hmm.
And if they are, how on God's green earth, if you're the Chiefs, can you justify that guy ever running out of your tunnel again?
All good questions to have, and we'll just have to wait for more information to come out in this whole situation. I believe TMZ did actually write an article about us, and how it's gone. It's hit the mainstream. If TMZ's written an article about it, obviously the NFL is aware, and the Chiefs are aware of these allegations. Again, I do think it's telling that he was not named in the post, and the Chiefs still put out a statement.
If there comes out any, for the lack of proof,
yes,
that all or any of these allegations are true, do you think he will ever play another down for them? Not do you think he should? Do you think he will?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he should. I don't think he should.
I don't think he should either. But
we don't have the best track record with the Chiefs handling legal situations for us to think anything else.
No, they do not. Yeah, I think the only thing I wonder with the Chiefs is if they're going to have like a hard reset of a year this year anyway, if that would be the impetus for them to just be like, you know what? But like, I kind of agree with you. And that is thoroughly frustrating. But I kind of agree. I think they would just be like, well, we're going to get him the help he needs. It's like, okay, well.
Yeah. No one ever claimed the NFL to be a moral compass.
Which, by the way, and maybe this is going to get me in all, like, I don't think that as an NFL employer, you need to be hiring 53 Boy Scouts on your football team. Like,
sure, yeah.
You are there to, like, I had a GM once say this to me. I'm going to win Super Bowls. Like, that's my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to get the most qualified players on my team. And this is obviously a job where there are not many qualified people on earth to do this. That being said, I do think there has to be a line of what you're willing to accept. And I think, look, some guy gets into a fight at the club, some guy gets pulled over for going 100 miles an hour. Not the way Rashee Rice did it.
Yeah, just like Jordan Addison
pulled over. Yeah, yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. That person may have bad judgment. That person may be a hothead. That person might exhibit bad behavior at times.
Sure.
I can understand why that guy's on your football team if he's really talented. I'm not condoning the behavior, but I get it. You start talking about some of this stuff that Rashee Rice is just A, flat out done, that we know he's done, and B, if this allegation proves true. To me, that's way past the line. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care how talented the guy is. Now, again, that's all I'm saying because we don't know, and that stuff can be very tricky, and there's a lot of nuance to when you're talking about stuff with allegations, and but I just think there does come a point where you want to win, but also like there's got to be a human side of this too here. Like that player, every player on this team, not just Rashee Rice, every player represents your organization. And by an extension of that, you're the Kansas City Chiefs. You represent that city.
Yeah.
Okay. And all the people in it. Like, you have a responsibility. You don't work at some paper printing company on 75th Avenue, right? Like, it's just, that's not the way this works. So I think it's something the Chiefs are going to have to do legitimate due diligence on and monitor. But yeah, if any of the allegations are true, I think he should be gone. That's just my 2 cents.
He's already on his second chance. So that also makes the leash that much shorter. And we know that Andy Reid loves second chances, but does he love thirds?
Also, my God, man, the guy's already got served 30 days in jail.
Yeah, he's probably currently on probation.
Wake-up call? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe to your point, I hope hopefully none of it's true, because if it is, it's awful.
Yeah, right.
But, we got to wait and see.
We do have to wait and see. Much like we'll have to wait and see about, as there's no good way to transition from that, right? We'll have to wait and see about Travis Kelce's retirement and see what he does.
Right.
He does release a statement from his podcast. Said there's a lot of love for the game that's still there. If you had to make a educated guess on January 8th, what do you think? Do you think he comes back?
So I didn't until I heard the New Heights podcast.
Yeah, same.
And he basically was like, if I can, physically I feel good, I'm ready to party. Like, that doesn't sound like a guy who's going to retire.
The quote from him, and this is the text quote, right? His inflection, I think, is
plugging in my computer. Keep reading.
His inflection is important in this, but every season ends for me. I put my feet up and just be a human because I've been putting my body through the ringer for the love of it. He said, I do enjoy playing football and the physical aspect of it. I think there's something about feeling the wear and tear of a football season, getting ready for a game, knowing that your body's beat down. Man, I think there's something to it that makes you feel like you just like that mangy animal that is out here just finding a way to survive. And I just love that.
Right.
He said it was kind of an embarrassing feeling but you keep moving. And I'm still a fan of the game. I still love the game, so I'll be tuned in through the playoffs, seeing how these things shake out over the next couple weeks. I'll get to be around some friends and family in January instead of trying to figure out how to win some playoff games. Just being a regular human for a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, and figuring out what I'm going to do next in terms of my football future, he said. And I've talked to a few people in the facility already, having exit meetings and everything, and they know where I stand, at least right now. And I think there's a lot of love for the game that's still there, and I don't think I'll ever lose that. So, to me, that both reads and I heard him, watched them say it. So, right.
I mean, look, it very much came off as long as I feel like physically I can just get healthy, I'm going to play.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's coming off a year. It's not like he's got Mahomes' situation where he's got a torn ACL. Like,
he didn't miss a game this year, I don't believe.
No. Was he even on the injury report?
I don't recall.
So it feels like he's going to play again. Like, based on what he said.
Yeah.
I kind of expected him to be like, I don't know. It was a long year. I've got to think about things. I'm I'm tired. New chapter of my life. And he basically was like, well, as long as my legs don't fall off, I'm good.
The fact he said he still loves football after that Raiders game is something.
Yes, because I frankly don't.
I started to question my love for football after that. That makes Travis Kelce and I different. Yeah, I mean,
but it's it made me feel like he is going to be back. Which I before he said that, I was kind of like marginally the other way, like 55-45 that he was going to retire, and now after hearing him. Sounded kind of like 80-20 he's going to play again.
He sounded like a part of it too is like he sounded kind of like amped up for like he's like when he kind of ends his whole like little monologue here. I guess his answer to Jason's question about how he's feeling says it's a tough thing to navigate, but at the same time, I think if my body can heal up and rest up, I feel confident that I can go out there and give it another 18, 20, 21 week run. I think I would do it in a heartbeat. So I think right now it's just finding that answer, seeing how the body feels after this game, and kind of when it all settles down.
Like, was he going to retire? And then the Chiefs called him and were like, listen,
21.
Embry and Nagy are gone.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe he's like, Nagy's out of here. And he said, I'm back.
All of a sudden, the body's feeling good. Yeah, like,
you feel real good.
Yeah, all the bruises are gone. Yeah, like, I wonder if you like went in and was like, Taylor, listen. They're moving off of Nagy and Embry. And she was like, all right, then.
And
like,
she's like, well, you have to go back.
This.
Yeah.
Like, how great would that be? You know, there's a song like 2 years down the road about all these, like, the moving and shaking this off season.
Yeah.
We
know Taylor's a ball knower because, like, from that documentary, she was, like, in it, man.
Yeah. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. That was cool. Yeah. I do think he's going to, after hearing that, I think, he just did not sound like a guy who's ready to walk away.
No. And that'll bring up like the monetary compensation that he's going to get and what do the Chiefs offer him and like what is he willing to take, that whole conversation, but we've got plenty of time to
oddly, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
No, that's good.
Like he's always taken less money with them. And also like, I'm not like, I hate when people say this, but in this case, I just think it clearly applies. Look who he's marrying.
Yeah, he's got plenty of.
They're okay financially. Like I don't think that any point. Let's put it this way: when he sits down with Taylor and they're having, I would imagine, a pretty obvious conversation about like their future and like this and that. Right? Yeah. I cannot imagine any part of that conversation being like, also the money. Yes. Right? I can't imagine him going to her and being like, also, I'm going to get $12 million out of this. That's like me going to my wife and being like, listen. I got offered this side gig. It pays $5 a week.
Right.
You know, like at that point, you're either doing it for the love of the game or you're not. Like
100%.
Even without marrying Taylor, I think he's okay.
Yeah. No, he would be. That's
marrying her. I feel like they're okay. Like financially speaking, I don't think he's going to be sitting there like, I'm just not coming back unless I get 20 million. You know, like, I don't think. I think at that point the money thing's a respect thing. Where it's just like, we'll make sure, we pay you what we can pay you. But also, I think they'd probably be honest with them. They look like, let me rephrase. Here's the other side of this. If I'm him, and this is not like the fan part of me, it's just the truth. Like if I was him and Brett Beach said to me, look, we could pay you $14 million next year.
Mm-hmm.
We could do that. And we could even maybe make it where like we add some bonuses and we void a year or something. And like you get like 16, 17 million bucks. Or we can pay you $6 million next year, but we can put a much better team around you.
Yeah, you don't.
And we can make a run at this thing.
You have to play 95% of the snaps. Yeah,
yeah. Like we can get you like with that $10 million we're going to save against the cap, we will go out and get another receiver, and we'll go get another edge rusher, and we will be better. If I'm him, that's a no-brainer. Yeah. What do I care? I'm worth a mint. I couldn't spend that much money if I tried if I'm him at this point. Like, plus if he retires, he can just go into television and make $30 million a year. Like,
right.
If I'm him, I want to be on a better team. Like, that's what I want. I don't care that I make the extra $7 million. As weird as that sounds, like most people, like, I don't care. I want to win. That's why I'm coming back. I'm not coming back to make more money. I'm coming back to win.
You brought up the fact that they're having conversations about, their future and everything. And I've been thinking about it ever since you said that. There's never a point where a dollar amount comes up, right? Like they're just like, what do we want to do? Okay, let's do it. It's not like how much does it cost? Like us normal people are like, okay, we would like to go on vacation. How much is the plane ticket going to cost? How much is the hotel going to cost? What do we want to do while we're there? We need to budget for this. They're like, oh, let's go to Turks and Caicos and just we'll just go. And they don't think that's not their fault, right? It's not Taylor Swift's fault. But she doesn't think, how much is that going to cost me? Maybe she does. Maybe she's a shrewd businesswoman and thinks maybe, to be fair, you don't get that much money without being a shrewd business person. You don't think, I think they just do it, Like, right. We want our wedding in Rhode Island. How much is that going to cost? We don't really care. We can just do that.
Look, bro, I go to that town every year for vacation in the summer. I have since I was a little kid. All right. I'm not Watch Hill, Rhode Island. It is beautiful. And every time I go there, everybody was like, who let him here? Who let him in? Okay. It's like they let me out of the, it's like, who opened up like the People Zoo and here comes Verderame.
Right. Released from the hospital.
Yes. Yeah. The mental hospital. Like they let me in and my family. Like, all the other kids are dressed in like lily white and they all look perfect. And then my kids are dressed in like, like some like secondhand Minnesota T-Wolves t-shirt. And I'm like, all right, then, like, kind of go out there and make a scene. But it's like, I remember one time we went to a store. My wife was looking at this like sundress. She was like, oh, it's beautiful. Like, I really like it. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Like, whatever, get it. And she went to the front counter and it was like a store that's like one of those stores like doesn't have like how much money the thing is on the like piece of clothing. And she went up and asked like, how much is it? And it was like $5,000. I was like, put that fucking dress back right now. Like, I don't care what you look like. Take a picture of yourself in it and then tell people.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
No, I mean, people always sort of looked at us like, oh, we're just garbage. But in any event, I've seen Taylor Swift's house. It's on the corner a lot of. It is massive. It is gorgeous. And where they're getting married is Ocean House. Ocean House is ridiculously nice. Christian McCaffrey got married there last year.
He did, yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, no, to your point, I just went off on a tangent. The point is, like, yes, I'm sure they're not like if Kelce's like, hey, babe, I want to buy a Lambo. I don't think they're like, well, what's the down payment on that?
Yeah, right.
Like I don't think they give a shit.
Imagine
so if Brett Beach is like, Trav, we could give you $15 million, or we could give you $6 to build a better team. I don't think he's like, well, wait a minute now. Like, hold on. Like,
right.
How am I going to live? It's okay. Like it's not like they're asking like some guy who's like the 53rd man on the roster to take 60% less.
Right.
So
it's a funny conversation. It's a funny thought, funny conversation. All right. We only got a couple minutes left on the podcast. Let's rapid fire our playoff predictions. I know we talked about them a little bit. I think we dove in a little bit deeper on the playoffs on Monday. Nothing's really changed storyline wise. The biggest thing has been obviously the coaching carousel and everything. But game by game, instant reactions. We both think that the Rams are going to win, right?
Yes. If the Rams lose, everyone involved should be fired.
Yep, I agree. And then Bears, Packers, you'll be at that game. Who do you got?
I'm going to take the Packers. Okay. The Packers beat them in the first game. They should have beat them in the second game with Malik Willis. They've been in the playoffs the last couple of years, experienced all that. And they got the rest last week. They basically got a bye week last week. The Bears didn't. And then still lost. So I will take the Pack. I think it's a really good game, though. I think it's a good game, but I'll take Green Bay.
I think it's going to be a good one. This is the night game, obviously, on Saturday.
Yep.
Jordan Love is going to play, right? They anticipate Jordan Love to play? Okay. I think I'm going to take the Packers, too. I think it's going to be a close one. It could be one of those where Green Bay, once again, just like rips the heart out of Chicago. Triple doink? How funny would a triple doink be?
I was at the double doink game.
Buddy.
I covered that game.
Shout out Matt Nagy.
Sitting there talking to Chase Daniel after that game.
Oh. Yep. Funny how things work. All right. Buffalo, Jacksonville.
I really think Jacksonville's going to win. I think better than them.
Yes.
So here, I actually wrote. You know what? I'm going to toot my own horn because I'm shameless. Just a jerk. So here's what to me is a crazy, crazy stat that I worked into my my preview file that goes up on Friday at SI. If you don't read it, you can all go to hell.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence in his last 6 games. Now, for anyone who's not aware, EPA is a cumulative stat, right? Which, by the way, Mahomes had a higher EPA than Allen. He didn't play for a month. So let's toss that out there. Trevor Lawrence in his last 6 games has an EPA of 69.2, which is like good for an entire season. 6 games, 69.2. In that same stretch, Allen is negative 12.3. Feels like 2 teams kind of going in different directions right now. Also, the Bills are 30th in the league stopping the run.
Correct.
5.1 yards per carry against. ETN's in a 1,000-yard back with a scheme that they love to run the ball out of.
Yeah.
It also concerns me that, like, with the Bills, so Jacksonville is, I think I have this in here as well. Jacksonville against the run, 8th in EPA per rush against, 2nd in yards per carry against. Very, very good against the run. And they're also 2nd in EPA per drop back against. Like, they have been very good defensively this year. But what would concern me with Buffalo is, like, if you can't run with the Bills offense this year, you're just screwed.
Yep.
Like, they can't throw. Allen is not throwing the ball well this season. They have no offense. They have no receivers on the outside. I just feel like this is one of these games where it's going to always be Allen. Oh, you know, here's the problem. If they can't run the ball, if it's Allen, they're going home. Like, I just think this is a really bad matchup for Buffalo. I think this actually is a really, really good matchup, an advantageous matchup for the Jags. So give me the Jags.
I like the Jags too, all the reasons you laid out, and it would just be the funniest thing. It'd be the funniest thing where you've talked about this a lot, and I 100% agree with you. I think this is a phenomenal point. There could not be more pressure than anyone in the playoffs than Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills right now. There's already people trying to move the goalposts a little bit. We've seen people try to already be like, well, you know, it's still going to be hard. It's still going to be really hard on Josh Allen, and it is little bit. He's babied so much. It is insane. But like, if he loses to Trevor Lawrence, legitimately hilarious.
Bro, I mean, let's just say it. I mean, the goalpost. Some people move the goalpost to the ocean.
That's like, yeah, from Buffalo.
From Buffalo, correct. Which is, so it's a while to get there. And also, it's some of the people who are doing it, I have a lot of respect for, but it's like, man, you got to, my God.
Come on. Yeah.
I mean, Ben Solak and Mina Kimes have basically spent the entire week just being like, well, you know, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Like, show me the team that isn't flawed in the playoffs. Which team is that? Is he going against the 07 Pats or the 89 49ers? Like, who the hell is he playing? Like, he can't win because they're bad against the run. Buddy, have you seen some of the years Mahomes has had with some of these teams?
That's the thing that's so frustrating. People just forget. They just forget.
Look, if you don't want to compare him to Mahomes, if you want to say, hey, Mahomes is unassailably better than him, and he's in a different tier, and he needs more help, fine. But that's not what all these people say. It's like, well, he's the same. It's the same. No, he's not. He's not. He's not the same. Mahomes has played with a bozo fest at receiver over the last handful of years and won the Super Bowl and got to 2 of them. And by the way, beat Allen in both those games that they played in the playoffs in those 2 years. Like, at some point, I don't give a shit that your run defense isn't good. I don't care. You go win the game. Go score some points. I don't care that Joshua Palmer is your best outside receiver.
Right.
MVS was a sleeper agent against the Chiefs in 2023, and they won the Super Bowl with the guy. Like, I don't care. You're playing against a Jags team that, look, I am picking because I honestly do think they're better.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills are favored in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and if they go to Denver, are they favorites in that game?
They shouldn't be.
They should. I bet you they are.
Yeah, I bet they.
I bet you the Bills are favored in every single playoff game they're in this year. So, like, I just don't want to hear it. Like, then go win. Go do something.
Right.
You know, like, you can't have it as like, well, he's the best quarterback in the world, but if he loses, it's also never his fault.
Uh-huh.
Because I got to tell you, every year we always, this is the same thing with Herbert until it just got indefensible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. what is he supposed to do? It's like, well, I don't know. But go fucking win the game. That's why he's paid.
Score a point in the second half against the Dolphins. Was it
How about that? Like, go in the game. Go do something. I don't care. You know, like I'm to the point. If the Bills lose this game, like unless it's a 13 seconds type thing, I'm all good on Allen Mahomes for the rest of my life. Like this, because I got to tell you, here's all you need to know about this. If you took the Bills out of the playoffs and put the Chiefs in there in the same spot, there's not a soul alive who'd pick Jacksonville to win this game.
No.
Nobody. It would be like, what are you kidding me? Mahomes. Like, nobody would pick Jacksonville to win this game. And yet we're all sitting there, yeah, Jacksonville. Like, that's all you need to know. Like, if this was the Chiefs, if you put Mahomes on the Bills and took Allen off the Bills, and you're like, are they going to win this game? You'd be, yeah, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's telling. All right. On the 3:30 game, San Francisco, Philly.
Yep.
Talked about this one a little bit on Monday's show. What do you got in this one?
Give me the Niners. Give me the Niners. I just don't believe in the Eagles' offense. I actually think it's a disadvantage of playing home this game because Philadelphia is going to boo them off the field if they run one play that goes for 2 yards.
Yeah.
That team, bro, they get down to like 7-0 in that game. That is going to feel like a home game for San Francisco. It's probably the biggest coin flip of the weekend for me, but I'll take the Niners.
I like the Niners as well because of the coaching. I think coaching is going to be a big advantage to the Niners here in this one because you look at what Kyle Shanahan's been able to do this year with a Niners team that's been just brutally abused by injuries. You talk about having a injury bug. They've had a injury virus going on around their team. Like it has been a very serious problem, and they've won 12 games. So like I think that his scheme is obviously transcendent to who's on the field. I think it's a large coaching advantage going to San Francisco, and I cannot stand for the Eagles to win. I cannot have the Eagles win again.
I would have to imagine that there's a lot of people in Kansas City who feel like if the Bills and the Eagles lose this weekend, that they've really this has been a wild success.
Yeah. Great.
And Denver's the trifecta a few weeks.
Oh, Denver just getting knocked out by like, who would it be? Either Houston or Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
That would be hilarious. Houston going there and just shutting them out. Bo Nix doesn't score.
Bo Nix would be in a world of hurt in that game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They almost lost the first time they played.
Yeah, with Davis Mills.
With Davis Mills, yes. Okay, the nightcap on Sunday, sorry. Chargers, Patriots, Chargers traveling to New England.
Give me New England, man. I just can't see. I don't think the Chargers are good. Like, and it's just one of these things. It's gonna be cold. It's in New England. New England's just better than them. Like the quarterback,
they're just
the only advantage that the Chargers simply have is the quarterback and the coach, and they don't have that advantage in this game.
Correct.
So, of all the games this weekend, other than Carolina, this would be the biggest surprise to me as a Chargers win this game.
I think that's fair. And now the Ass Fest, that's on Monday night. Houston at Pittsburgh.
This game is just. I'm going to take Houston, but I'll give you one thing I think is really interesting about this game. No quarterback has thrown more passes in under 2.5 seconds this year than Rodgers.
That's very fair.
And Houston does not have a single sack this year in under 2.5 seconds. If there is a way to neutralize that pass rush, it's how Pittsburgh plays. The problem is, I think Stingley and Lassiter are going to line up in the backfield and just they're not give up a single yard after catch.
They do have DK back for this game.
They do. I think it's a close game. I think it's a defensive battle, obviously. But I like Houston. I think Houston wins a close game. I think it's right around the number, like a field goal.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I like Houston in this one too, just because of how good their defense is. And I don't know if I could stand Aaron Rodgers winning a playoff game in the year of our Lord 2026.
There's a part of me, man. I think Aaron Rodgers in the AFC title game.
Have you seen, I don't know how active you are on Instagram, but there's a guy called Rodgers Realm who does, I'll have to send you the videos because he does Aaron Rodgers impressions of just like how his like mannerisms are on the field. And they are like spot on perfect. And it is genuinely hilarious to watch him because he does like the whole like fist pump. And then he does the, I got to send you these videos because they're so funny. Rodgers Realm, I think he is hilarious. But Aaron Rodgers playing a game that means something in 2026 seems a bit crazy, truthfully.
It's not good. It's not good. And that team is not good. But this
They're
is
not-
look, this is two things are going to be true about this playoff season, if you will. It is not going to be phenomenal football, but it's going to be very unpredictable. It should make it very interesting.
Whoever wins the Super Bowl, we're going to look back in 5 years and be like, how did they win that Super Bowl?
I'm pretty confident in saying this is whoever wins Super Bowl is the worst team I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. Like, I don't even think it's that close. Like, in my lifetime, I've thought about this. Like, I don't even know who else would be in the conversation. Like, maybe, like the 05 Steelers are kind of ass.
Yeah.
Like, Roethlisberger wasn't that good yet. Like, they won.
Is that the Bettis year? You hate Jerome Bettis.
Fuck. Bullshit, Jerome Bettis. The bus stops here. Should have fucking stopped in Indianapolis, but Helen Keller picked up the fumble. Other than that, man, like all the Pats teams are better than whoever the hell wins this year. Like, the Chiefs are all better. I mean, you know what? The only other one, although I will say they had a great defense. The year Manning won with Denver, that team was like pulling teeth offensively.
That's fair. Yeah.
They were
He couldn't throw the ball like 10 yards downfield. It was bad.
Yeah. But I will say, to be fair to them, defensively, that team was outrageous.
Insane defense, yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the worst team. Like, because who's the best team in the league this year right now? Who, the Rams or Seattle?
Yeah. Probably the Rams or Seattle, I would say. I'd give them the edge over New England. Yeah.
Like, if Seattle wins this year, it's like Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl.
That's gonna be like Trent Dilfer winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just like,
Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. I thought about them too, by the way, of like them being in there. It's like one of the worst teams I've ever seen win a Super Bowl.
The pieces they had on that team, though, were
That's the thing, right? Like when Wentz was our team was ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, like whoever wins the Super Bowl this year, like they should have to like apologize for winning.
What about that? What about Stafford's Super Bowl? What about that Rams Bengals one? That game sucked. I remember that, but I don't remember.
I was there for that game. Yeah, that's fair. It would be ironic if the Rams went 2 Super Bowls or all fucking sucked.
Dude, that could be the case of like when the Chiefs are not in it and like the Rams go to the Super Bowl and like could the Chiefs have beat the Rams this year? Probably not. But
I just remember that 13 seconds game was such a weird like that. The buildup was like that was the Super Bowl,
right? Yeah,
and then neither one of them ended up in the Super Bowl. And I remember covering the game at SoFi. And I remember vividly thinking, like, I cannot believe the Chiefs aren't here. They would kick the crap out of this Rams team.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
I was just like, yeah.
In 2018,
regardless, it's whoever wins this year is one of the worst teams I've ever seen win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like,
when they lost to the Patriots in 2018, they would have beat that Rams team as well. That was also another ass Super Bowl, right? With the
that was
Brady.
the first one I ever covered.
You've covered some ass Super Bowls.
I did. That game was ass.
Last year's Super Bowl was pretty ass.
Covered that one. I've covered. This would be 6 this year.
Damn.
Covered the Chiefs Niners the first one. Covered the Chiefs Eagles first one. Did not go to the COVID one.
Fair.
Did not go to the second Chiefs Niners one because SI was going through some difficulties at the moment. Didn't know what the hell was going to happen. I've been to 5 of easily the most exciting one that I've been to. I mean, the Chiefs Eagles game was a great game, but
the one in Arizona.
Yes, but probably like, I mean, it's obviously personally when they won against the Niners the first time.
The first
end of that game was just unbelievable, and like where we were in the press box, like all the Chiefs fans were underneath us. It was insane. That was
I have to imagine that the one in Vegas was pretty exhilarating.
I didn't go to that game.
Okay.
That was because of SI and everything else. But I'll be in Santa Clara to watch Bo Nix and Sam Darnold just get after it.
God help us.
Yes, correct. That's all I got. I'm done with this.
All right, that's gonna do it for that football show. Let me double check here the podcast rating and review to see if we have anything on the Apple Podcast side. Appreciate all the kind comments and words that we've gotten several times on our YouTube videos. That football show, this is from Mr. Fergie Ferg.
Okay.
Any relation to Fergie? That football show, absolutely hilarious. Matt, everyone who listens loves your analogy, so don't filter yourself. Matt and Tucker going back and forth is the best part of KCSN and brings me the comedic relief I need for this alcohol-inducing season. Hopefully you're using Ben Holiday Bottled and Bond as your poison of choice. Just when I think I would rather have Helen Keller perform my vasectomy than watch the Chiefs, I remember I'll get to listen to this show after and hear their takes, which makes watching the game all worth it. Hopefully the show increases to 3 times per week for all of our sakes. You'll have to see, Fergie Ferg. You have to wait and see, but appreciate.
Oh wait,
have to wait, but appreciate those kind words and appreciate all of you guys watching, listening, following along all the way to the end of the podcast. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We do read all the comments. I might not respond to all of them, but I do go through and I read them. So we do appreciate the kind words, and we do appreciate you guys saying that we are better than everyone else.
Yes.
Those comments are always.
We know it, but it's good to hear it.
It's great to hear it, actually.
I'm going to print out like the 100 best comments that we get saying that we're better than these other people, and I'm going to put them in a collage frame, and then I'm just going to mail them out to everybody for Christmas.
Yeah, next year. Just be like, wow, that football show is so much better than KC Laboratory, and then we'll send it to Kent, you know?
Yes. Like, Merry Christmas, you son of a bitch, and then just mail it out.
We got to bring back rivalries. Rivalries are apparently dead because we got transfer portal guys going from Texas to OU and just being excited about it. Rivalries are dead. We got to bring them back. That's what we're doing here on the podcast. Bring back rivalries.
That quarterback from Washington, his agent fired him today.
I saw that. That's crazy.
You know what a sleazebag thing you've got to do for an agent to be like,
fire you?
Hey, we've gone too far.
Right.
Okay.
Hopefully none of our agents fire us. That's going to do it for that football show here on KC Sports Network. From Verderame and Tucker Franklin, thank you so much to Ben Holiday, Bald and Bond Bourbon, and Holiday Distillery for making the show possible. We'll be back with you on Monday to talk about the playoff field, how that all shakes out, and maybe some more Chiefs news. We will talk to you then.